Hello and welcome to the introduction video for the Principles of Exercise Therapy, or you will know it as PET, on your undergraduate physiotherapy program. So the Principles of Exercise Therapy is a relatively new module that teaches you the exercises involved in all aspects of physiotherapy treatment. It's designed to help physiotherapy students to become champions for exercise, and that's what we hope you will become. So the module learning aims are to develop theoretical knowledge and practical skills in exercise prescription, understanding basic principles of exercise through a needs analysis of their task-specific fitness requirements, and to understand that exercise is integral to all aspects of physiotherapy treatment. So the learning objectives. We want you to be able to describe the structure and function of the cardiorespiratory and the neuromusculoskeletal systems and relate this to exercise and physical activity. We want you to describe the immediate, the acute and the long-term, the chronic adaptations of exercise and physical training. And we want you to prescribe, plan, implement and evaluate appropriate, effective exercise programs based on your client and their individual needs. To do this, you've got to be able to demonstrate effective communication skills so that you can instruct safely and correctly. You've got to be able to identify health and safety principles in training and exercise, including the environment, and you've got to identify current guidelines for healthy living, nutrition, fitness and physical activity. So this is our centering slide. It reminds us of our mission statement in physiotherapy, that our profession is concerned with human anatomy and physiology, human movement and function, maximizing wellness and potential, minimizing disease and injury, and ultimately solving real-world problems. So as a physiotherapy student, you require the following skills: anatomy, clinical reasoning, communication, empathy, physiology, pathology, health promotion, human movement analysis, skill acquisition, evidence-based practice, treatment modalities, and finally exercise prescription and planning. So in the first semester you're going to learn that exercise drives a system of systems. Fitness is made of 10 different components. You're going to discover that the mind has a connection to movement. We're going to cover functional strength and conditioning. We're going to cover balance and proprioception. That good posture comes from good movement, human biomechanics, the mind-muscle connection, range of movement, exercise communication and feedback, and finally exercise prescription. In the second semester, we'll be doing the needs analysis of a patient, exercise outcomes and screening, hypertrophy to heart connection, and then heart to hormones connection, designing group exercise. Then you'll have a practice session for your Viva. We do cardiac rehabilitation, and finally we get to go to the swimming pool and enjoy hydrotherapy, or aquatic therapy as it's now known. So what is a definition of exercise therapy? So Tidy's book, chapter 13, tells us that exercise is using voluntary muscle activity produced by an integration of higher centers such as the cardiovascular, pulmonary and neuromuscular components, and rehabilitation of these systems. So the PET principles are remembered in the acronym SPORT BILLY. So we've got the first one, which is A for adaptation. Here's where the body and the mind will change in terms of their efficiency. We've got specificity, so the movement or the exercise must be task specific. Progressions and regressions, making it harder or easier. The principle of overload, including intensity, load, duration, volume and rest. The law of reversibility, if you don't use it, you lose it. Taking time out, which is sleep and rest. And then behavioral change, which is your motivation, your intrinsic motivation, which is based on your belief system. Individuality, which is very person specific. Lifestyle integration, which is your behavioral adaptation, which is extrinsic. The law of diminishing returns, so better takes longer, that's your rehabilitation plateau. And the fact that it's your responsibility, and getting the patient to take ownership of their own health. The way this is assessed in two ways: we have a computer-assisted assessment, a CAA, and also a practical Viva assessment. Your module team, myself, Dale Walker, physiotherapy undergraduate course leader, Linda Hollingworth, David Dean, and Mike Dean. So our expectations. We want you to turn up and sign the register every single session. If you haven't signed the register, it's like you haven't been in the room. So make sure you sign that document. We want you to complete all your directed study before the class, not during, and definitely not after. It must be before the class to prepare you for the session ahead. For the practical sessions, you might require bare feet, training footwear, and loose clothes so that you're comfortable. Make sure that you ask any questions that you need to before the session, and speak to any staff if you're struggling. So to summarise, make sure that you read and do all the work required in the directed study, which is on Blackboard. Here you'll see the module schedule and all the module information, which is week by week, and it's the same for all the modules. There'll be directed study in the folder for each week that needs to be completed prior to coming into the session. We've also got further reading, and that's in the supplementary information that will give you more detail about the subject matter, and then the actual session material will cover the lecture notes and the practical or the tutorial worksheets. So thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy the PET course.